So I think one of the challenges with this, and one of the things that Melisa specifically, and I really wanted to focus on was horror on Halloween, revolving around everything Halloween. And we did start off actually as a bit of a broader project. But then Melisa and I got into each story really hard, every story, every author that we spoke with. And she and I really kind of refined our road just by focusing on Halloween horror. And we think that it's just something that a lot of people want. I feel like horror is really having a good moment right now.
Well, everybody, welcome back.
Hey, everyone.
This is Generation X Paranormal. I'm Logan.
And I'm Nicole.
Guys, it is spooky season.
It is officially today.
Officially today, it's here.
Though
yeah.
we do it really all year. But
yeah, we do.
For everyone else.
For everybody else, it
today.
is the official beginning of spooky season. All the pumpkin spice stuff's going to just start falling out of the skies. And
yes, it is.
Everybody's going to be enjoying their pumpkin spice lattes, which I'm not saying I hate it because that would be terrible, but the palate doesn't hit me.
I like pumpkin. I don't know that I like the coffee, though.
Yeah, I can't do it in the coffee.
Mm-mm.
We had something pumpkin spice. I think it was like, I don't know, it doesn't matter, but it is pumpkin spice season. And we are excited for it because, I mean, honestly, we're paranormal people.
Mm-hmm.
So this is sort of
it's like our time to shine.
Yeah, this is our beginning of our official, like, all right, we're here, now we're normal. Because
right, for 1 month.
Right, for 1 month, we get to be normal, and everybody else would be like, oh, yeah, I'm really into spooky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then every other month, we're just like, yeah.
Waiting for the next year.
We just go into hiding. Anyway, so people that are not in hiding, and we're so excited, is we actually have 3 people with us. One you know extraordinarily well, and so do we. She is our resident historian. We've got Rissa Miller.
Yes, we do.
And we've also got 2 other authors.
Yes.
And what can you tell us about them?
So we've got Kasey Fallon, okay, and she is a multi-genre author known for her sharp and gripping psychological works. And we also have Melisa Peterson Lewis, and she is a speculative fiction author who loves answering weird questions and quirky prose.
Ooh. Well, then I probably have we have tons of quirky questions to probably ask her.
Right.
And ask all of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, but they have all co-authored a book.
Yes.
Called A Grave Duet, which is right here. If you're on the video podcast, you can see it.
Yep, you can see it. And plus, we got a cool little graphic back here, too. But yeah, Grave Duet.
But I'll just read what's on the back because they're good at writing what they write.
Yes,
so
they are.
I don't need to try to make anything up.
No need to judge it up.
Nope. So it says, this chilling collection of horror novelettes is for mature readers who crave the macabre. Twisted tales of possession, ravenous monsters, vengeful demons, love stories turn nightmare, and dark phobias claw their way to life.
Dun, dun, dun.
Each story is a separate haunt, from modern horrors to ghost-haunted histories, and even a bleak future scarred by a deadly plague.
Well, I feel like we've lived that one.
Yes, we have.
That's awesome. Well, honestly, guys, we can't wait to talk to him. So,
but stick around to the end because we've got a surprise.
Yes, please stick to the end. There's something important.
Maybe you can get your hands on this book right here.
Just maybe.
Yeah, that comes out today.
Today.
Yeah, it is released today.
Hot off the presses.
Yes.
All right,
how old are you?
Well, it is Generation X Paranormal now.
I know, but that's like before Generation X.
Look, there's gray in my beard.
I know.
I am who I am. I'm not going to run from it.
Right.
But anyway, enough of my jabbering. Let's talk to him.
Let's talk to all 3 of them.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Generation X Paranormal. How you doing?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
Awesome.
Very glad to be here.
Awesome. We're excited to have you guys. So normally, Rissa, we have you on and we talk about all kinds of cool stuff, and I think we'll probably have you on many times again. So I know our audience knows you pretty well, but we've got some new faces. Would you care to introduce them?
I would love to. These are two people that are very close to my heart, and they've both been in my life for years. Melisa Peterson Lewis and Kasey Fallon are fellow authors. And let's see, we met because of the Maryland Writers Association that provides you with the opportunity to be in critique groups. So, Melisa, I met you, I think it was in 2018 or 19. It's been a minute. It was pre-pandemic for sure, because I had just released my poetry book. And that's right around the time that you came to your first critique group at my old house. And then, Kasey, you came in when we had transferred into Zoom. And that's where we still are. But we meet twice every month. And there are two other members of our critique group. But it's amazing how the consistency of meeting all the time and talking about your writing, which is kind of a personal thing, really creates amazing bonds.
For sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it's always great to see people kind of getting together and kind of collectively doing things, because I really think that kind of helps the creative process, because, you get into a situation where sometimes in the creative process, you get a little pigeonholed in kind of your own thing. And sometimes it's tough to kind of come up with new things, and being kind of that group setting, it's a little bit better. So.
Agreed. Like when you were on the podcast by yourself, now it's so much better because I'm here, right?
That's true. That is true.
Sorry, I had to take that opportunity.
Yeah, you got me there. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off just kind of individually asking some questions. And I think, Kasey, we're going to start with you. We're going to put you on the hot seat first. So here we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you guys so much again for having us on.
Yes,
of course.
It's a pleasure.
We've been excited for this one for a while. But so, Kasey, what first pulled you into horror? Was it a book, a movie, a personal experience? What got you here?
I grew up on a dead-end street with no other houses and a cemetery.
Oh.
And
that'll do it.
So that pretty much set it up. Think very Addams Family, but more wood toned instead of Gothic mosaic architecture.
Right.
And my mother was a practicing Wiccan for 10, 15 years, and so I was raised very untraditionally, and I feel like I've always had an eye for the other. Is what I call everything, like other with a capital O.
I like
perfect. I like the other.
The other.
The other.
So is that kind of a little bit about yourself, where you kind of just came up with you're on your own street with a cemetery, which, by the way, that's got to be an interesting, like if you're a kid riding your bike in the middle of the night or something, you're coming back and forth. Yeah, passing a cemetery, that certainly hits the creep factor a little.
Yeah.
We got so used to it. We would have I would have sleepovers like in the cemetery, and just and the cemetery was old enough that you couldn't really read any of the gravestones anymore. So I would just make up names for them. And I'd be like, you were John.
Yeah.
You were
and
John. You
Chuck.
died. Sorry about that.
That's so cool.
That is really cool. Wow. Well, so when you were writing this collection, what theme challenged you the most? So I know when we looked it over, you're kind of covering quite a bit. You're covering possessions, monsters, demons, and different phobias. What was it that kind of got in your craw a little bit more, or maybe than you didn't think it would?
So I think one of the challenges with this, and one of the things that Melisa specifically, and I really wanted to focus on, was horror on Halloween, revolving around everything Halloween. And we did start off actually as a bit of a broader project, but then Melisa and I got into each story really hard, every story, every author that we spoke with, and she and I really kind of refined our road just by focusing on Halloween horror. And we think that it's something that a lot of people want. I feel like horror is really having a good moment right now. Thank you, Jenna Ortega, and thank you, Wednesday
Yes.
Addams.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
a lot of people are loving this right now.
for sure. Yeah, it definitely seems to have. I mean, I don't think it's ever really gone away, but it changed because then we got in the whole slasher thing for a long time. I'm definitely old enough to remember that. Got in these slasher things, then it kind of
Yeah.
got into. I think there was some really heavy satanic stuff for a while. I don't know. It seems to kind of evolved and changed and moved.
Vampires and for
Yeah.
a
Oh yeah.
while.
Yeah. Let's not forget the
Mhm.
vampires. The glittering people.
The glittering ones.
Well, it
Um,
actually reflects what's going on in current events. That's usually how these things work.
That's true.
But I
That's
won't.
Very
very,
true.
I
very
won't
true.
pull you into that
No.
rabbit hole.
The resident historian. She's got her
Well,
place.
That's funny because it actually kind of leads into the next question I had. Well, horror, as you kind of mentioned it, Rissa, it kind of reflects cultural anxieties. That's kind of the thing
Mhm.
that's the great escape and why people get into a lot of it, I think. And do you see your contribution to A Grave Duet as a mirror of our current fears or more of a timeless exploration type feel to it?
I think we got her.
Did it get
Wait,
you?
you talking to Kasey or me?
I'm talking to Kasey, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Rissa. I
No,
apologize.
that one's on you.
Could you please repeat the question?
You bet. So,
Thank you.
so horror often reflects cultural anxieties, right?
Yes.
And do you see your contribution to the book? Do you see it more of like a mirror of current fears or kind of like a timeless exploration of dread?
That is a fabulous question.
Thank you.
I would say because there are such different stories within it, and I wrote 3 separate stories in it. I would say for 2 of them, they probably reflect more of our current world. And then for the third, the Veil Bride, I would say that is definitely more timeless. Loss, grief, the other side, um,
Mhm.
and what can happen to people who mess with the other side.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
So us.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of on that, Kasey, what is it? And we already talked about you living pretty much next to the oldest cemetery on the planet, but what is it that scares you?
Wish.
I'm right. What is it that scares you? Because you've kind of run the gamut in your storytelling. And I know it's hard sometimes, even us being in the paranormal, you kind of, I don't know, you get desensitized, but there are some things that don't resonate the way they used to. But what is it that still gets you?
Are we ready to get deep?
Absolutely.
Deep.
Okay. People.
Yeah.
People scare me. I can do a ghost. I can do a ghost tour. I can do a haunted tour of a psychiatric institute. I can go to the oldest library in Germany, which I did. It was stunning. I recommend.
Cool.
I can deal with the other, but I consider myself very Scooby-Doo in a sense, in that at the end of the day, the monsters are usually people, always people.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that
I
would
mean,
be it.
yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, that is our biggest challenge, really. We talk about paranormal things constantly, but I mean, just flipping through the news, I'm like, yeah, that's scarier than anything we've covered in the last month and a
It
half.
is.
So,
It
Mhm.
is.
but no, that's great. I love that answer. All right, Melisa, you're next. um, again, kind of what we start with Kasey. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. First of all, I am the biggest chicken. All of this stuff scares me. What scares you? I'm like, literally everything.
Sure.
And that's why I got into horror because, it's good to do things that scare you. And I like putting elements of horror into other storytelling things. So,
For sure.
I'm a speculative fiction writer. I have a zombie series that I wrote based in Baltimore,
Nice.
where I'm right outside of Baltimore, and I lived there for many years. I love Baltimore. It was super fun to write. I am a gardener, a hiker, crafter, master of none, kind of figuring things out.
I mean, aren't we all?
Yeah.
I'm definitely a master of none, that's for sure.
Yeah, I dabble in a little bit of that stuff too.
Yeah. And honestly, we're scared of stuff too. I mean, we were just at Waverly Hills, last weekend or the weekend before? 2 weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was petrified the whole way. It just means I'm doing something right, I guess. I don't know. I think the only difference is instead of running away from it, I'm running to it, but I'm still in my mind going, what in the heck am I doing? Why am I going to this noise?
It's good to face your fears, though.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It helps you understand things more.
So I guess basically, how did the idea for the book kind of come about? Was it something that you guys kind of initially planned, or was it kind of like a slow burn, or was it like just a lightning bolt moment?
I actually came into the project a little bit later. Kasey had started this project with some others who eventually kind of phased out. And I just happened to ask her if she knew any horror anthologies because I was kind of thinking of moving into it. And she was like, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm writing one right now. And I had a story I had written years ago, and it's called Feed My Babies. It's a second story in the book, and it's a spicy horror, which I think is a fun little genre right there, spicy horror. And I loved bringing it back to life. So it was really, I wanted to take that single story and put it somewhere. And then I ended up writing 2 more.
How cool.
I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, now I'm very, very peaked. I'm ready to go. Now, each story in the book, you said it's an anthology. So they all stand on their own as separate haunts, right? And I guess I probably know the answer, but was that intentional or did that just sort of develop over time?
I would say it was intentional. We really wanted to make sure the stories didn't start sounding the same. Nobody wants to pick up a collection of stories and feel like they're reading the same story over and over again. So I have another story, again, Cherie. It's actually based in the 90s, best decade. And it's got a groundhog.
Cool.
I remember Groundhog Day, the theme where somebody has to. So, I play with something like that, and then Rissa comes in with like a cryptid feel, and Kasey has hers. So we did intentionally make sure that our stories were very different.
For sure. It's funny you mentioned Groundhog Day. It's a comedy, right? But if I remember reading correctly, the amount of time he spent in that loop, I think somebody said something crazy and astronomical, like 5,000 years or something like that. Like I heard that was part of the lore. Yeah, that's freaking frightening enough as it is right there.
Yeah, that is a horror.
That is a movie. Horror. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because so many of these things that stand out as comedies, you don't realize were actually based in some horror and some,
They really punished him good, didn't
they? They did.
Yeah, a dark side.
Yes.
Although he ate the heck out of that pastry, man.
Wouldn't you? If you can't gain any weight from it, I would.
I mean, I still do it, but I pay for the later. But so the book, this is where it's kind of a little bit of an interesting twist. The book talks about a future scarred with plague, right? And now, given obviously what we've all kind of gone through, given the pandemic, was that a big influence behind that?
For one of the stories in the Grave Duet, yes, Ouija. Wait, no, I'm saying that wrong. Rissa, that's right. Ouija. Okay, I looked it up and I still think I'm saying it wrong. The third story, I wanted to have some type of possession, and I love anything dystopian. I love reading dystopian. I love writing about it. It's just kind of like that, the world is cleansing its palate and whatever pops up next. So I thought it would be really cool to write a possession dystopian, because we have these old hauntings from the past, but they can follow us far, far into the future.
For sure. Yeah, I love dystopian stuff. Like I was a huge Philip K. Dick fan. I think I've probably watched Blade Runner more times than I ever care to admit. There is just something about that cleansing, right? I think it's somewhat cathartic to watch it where you see it, okay, it's just a complete leveling of something, and then watching that rebuild. And you always say to yourself, well, society's not going to do the same thing over and over again, but that's where the joke's on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love dystopian stuff, so that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. I was curious where that kind of the genesis of that came from. So on that now, and I know that for a fact horror writing is very heavy. And I know for a lot of people in that process, they've even got to take breaks from it because it can take so much of your time and kind of impede in things. But did you find moments of levity during the process that kind of help balance that darkness a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I love little tiny bits of humor that are just dropped here and there to kind of lighten something or have readers, when they're so like into something, they're like so focused on it. I think it's really fun to kind of like pull them out of it for just a
Yes.
second. So it is heavy. It's also really interesting when you're writing something heavy like that, whether it be a gruesome scene or, just something with a lot of feeling. It feels very technical the first go around sometimes as a writer. And then when I go and I read it, I mean, we probably read our work dozens of times before the public gets to it.
Yeah.
Dozens.
I bet.
And it's really, I think, that second time around that I creep myself out. Because the first time it's very like very technical. I want to make sure, bodies are where they're supposed to be. We have very interesting Google searches, all of us.
Us too.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is very scary what's probably in our Google history.
Yes, it is.
In fact, it's funny you say that because I know stuff I Googled just today that I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm on somebody's radar.
No.
But no, it's true. Almost like American Werewolf in London, and I don't know how big of a fan you guys are of that movie, but here was this crazy werewolf movie, from the late 70s, early 80s, but it was hilarious. It's probably one of the funniest movies, in the horror genre. So I think having levity makes a big deal to it. So, but thank you for sharing that. That's been great. So Rissa, we're headed to you next. Our resident historian. So Rissa, you came to this project not only as a writer, but sort of as the historian and seer. How did your unique perspective kind of shape the way you approached your contribution?
So most of my writing, as you know, these days is nonfiction because I do so much research. And that's not where I started. I was a fiction writer and poet for most of my life. And to come back to writing fiction was kind of like a welcome home, honestly. So I decided to go with an actual piece of folklore from Maryland, the Patapsco Howler. And the Patapsco Howler is allegedly a werewolf or dogman type creature that inhabits the Patapsco State Park, which is a huge park in Maryland. It covers, I believe, 3 counties. It touches 3 counties. So it's very large, many acres. And there are actual people who believe they have seen this large, pale, cream-colored beast running around. And some of them I've even interviewed some of them. So that's where I started. I was like, I want to take this werewolf story that's part of this area's real history and do something fun with it. So I knew I was going to turn it into we've all talked about werewolves before.
Yes.
And so I knew I wanted to turn it into a she-wolf story because I really feel like the female werewolf is kind of underrepresented in both fiction and film. And in history, she was quite powerful. I don't understand why filmmakers haven't picked up on this, but, okay. So that was I knew what I wanted to write. I just had to figure out who she was and how she was going to fit into a certain number of words.
Yeah. For sure. And I can see where, and I know you're right, we've talked about this very thing and the history of werewolves and things like that. It makes it very difficult because, sort of the tradition of the male dominant, horror things and quite honestly, a lot of it. But, and I'm okay to say that. I understand. I know what's happening.
You're outnumbered right now.
And I'm okay with that. It's okay. But I know that kind of trying to keep that same history and honor her as a she-wolf. Did you find it did you want to almost use her as a muse to kind of get across some things that are happening now and kind of use it as a muse to tell the story? Or did you feel like you wanted to stay very traditional with her arc or how you wanted to get her across?
I definitely kept her. She does change a little bit in the story because she has to protect someone. But she doesn't start out knowing that. It's part of the mystery, right?
Right.
And I said, because I said it in a real place. And actually, Nicole and Logan, you're in the story.
Yes,
So
we are.
Yes. We are
Yeah.
so honored
Yeah.
by that, by the
I
way.
I gotta admit, because you sent us a little bit of what you'd written and kind of told us anything, but yeah, I remember saying to her, I'm like, well, that's official. We are
I know.
now in a book for
We're
the
in a
rest of
book.
time, and we're
Immortalized.
immortalized. So thank you. That was a
Yes.
huge
you're
honor.
welcome.
So
You're
we are
welcome.
very honored by that. So no, that's great. I think that it's interesting because we kind of talked about it before, the parallel between horror and horror writing, and honestly, really a lot of writing is sometimes finding that ability to kind of reach back into what's happening historically, using it as kind of a way to almost cement for the reader what's happening at that particular time that you're writing the book or writing whatever that you're writing. So I find that really interesting, and I can't wait to read all of them and kind of just see how they all play in together. It's going to be a lot of fun. But when you were collaborating with Kasey and Melisa, was there kind of a time, since you kind of have that seer and that sort of that ability? Did they ever reach out to you, or did you ever offer, hey, you may want to think about going a certain direction, or maybe this might help you with where you're going with it?
No, but we work on each other's writing every month. So we're pretty used to each other, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We have a very open way of talking and discussing each other's work after all this time. And there were times, like, I think working on that I was like, oh well, just so you know, this isn't historically accurate, or whatever it might have been. But we all bring something to each other in that way. They were really good at pointing out, like, there were certain words that I fell in love with and I kept using over and over, like, obsessively. Which is fine. We all have these things that we need to let go of as creatives. But
Yeah.
no, there was nothing I could really have added in that way, because I feel like as I saw the collection come together, it was cohesive and everything worked, and it definitely hit different time periods, and in the end, there was no historical inaccuracy in anything, and I really liked how they all puzzle pieced into stories that spanned over time and into the future.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is awesome. In saying that, with creatives, being creative, I also know, and we know this, that every time you do a project, anytime you put your personal stamp on things, you tend to get a takeaway from something. It leaves an impression back on you. Rissa, was there something during this project that you took away that from what you put into it as a creative?
Mm. You know, I feel like I remembered how much I love writing fiction, and
Yeah.
that was pretty big gift to have been prompted by Kasey and Melisa to go back to writing fiction for a minute.
Yeah.
That was probably my biggest takeaway. That, and how much I loved the city I was writing about. It's Ellicott City in Maryland, and I don't get to spend as much time there as I used to. But writing this story there and imagining a werewolf on the railroad bridge in Ellicott City was such a
Yeah.
great and dramatic moment to picture. The people in the town who would literally be drunk and think it was a joke, the people who would be terrified, the people who would be trying to videotape it, the people who would be like, whatever, it's somebody in a costume. Just
Right.
the
Yeah.
way I know Ellicott City, and how would they react to a werewolf fight on a railroad bridge?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I guess this will kind of be more of a forum talk. When and honestly, we'll start with you, Kasey. When the three of you kind of created this single anthology, was it difficult not to kind of? I know we touched on it a little bit. But was it a conscious effort to kind of not to step on each other's toes, or certain things you're like, oh, well, maybe this is better suited for Melisa's story or Rissa's story? Was there kind of a conscious effort of that?
I would say that there was definitely a conscious effort, not that anyone stepped on anything.
Sure.
But we wanted to make an effort, and this was from the beginning. So even as we were putting our thoughts together and coming up with different concepts and ideas, we wanted something for everyone. We wanted a monster. We wanted a ghost. We wanted a haunting. We wanted a cryptid. And it wasn't that scripted, or there was no formula that we followed, but we did want to make sure that we had, as Melisa said, like completely independent stories that really encompassed a lot of different aspects of horror and of Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And Melisa, do you think that, and I'm sure I know the answer to this, do you think that not only obviously that encourages that creative process, but it makes it a little bit more fluid, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as Rissa mentioned, we've been working together for years now, and I think I would see Kasey was going to write something about like The Veil is about this woman. I don't want to give too much away, but this woman's
Sure.
husband goes to the other side, and she misses him so much, so she makes a terrible deal. A
Yeah.
terrible deal. But it is a bit of a love story in a way. So when I approached something that has like again, Shuri has a little bit of a love story in it too. I wanted to make sure like it was very different. And I think, all of us giving each other feedback has always been extremely valuable I mean, the books behind me, Rissa has read and critiqued them from front to back, chapter to chapter, and Kasey came in a little later too. So I value everything that they have to say. And do we all listen to everything we say? Absolutely not, because that would be changing our voice as an
Right.
author, right?
Right.
But it's still, extremely valuable.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Rissa, beyond the scares, what do you hope that readers kind of glean from or take away from A Grave Duet?
Fun. I hope they have
Yeah.
fun with it, honestly. I love being part of an anthology that's all women. I love being part of an anthology that's all horror. I've been a horror fan since I was literally a child. I hope that people sit down and they tear through it the way I love to personally devour a great anthology.
Perfect. And I'm going to put you on the spot. You were talking about as a child. I
Mhm.
think before we all sat down and started recording, I think you brought something up, and I think I'm going to make you break it out because I think
Because it's
that's
amazing.
yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, I can actually
Sorry.
feel myself blushing. I'm glad I have foundation on. Okay. So earlier today, my mother gave me something back that I had given her in 3rd grade, apparently. I guess she said that she had been holding on to this until I finally published a scary book of my own. And this is the first and thing that's close to that. So here it is. This is my own handiwork from oh my God, how many? I'm 50, so 3rd grade was what, like age 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So here I have a headless man floating through a castle.
Nice.
Yeah. Terrifying, really. This is the one that I probably should revisit now as an adult author. I have a large black horse with red hooves and red high heels. There's some lightning here. There's a grave. There's luckily a nice lush green lawn as well. Yeah.
Guys,
I want to hear this story.
right. To the forum that everybody's here, we need an expansion of that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a vote.
Yeah, we need more of that, Rissa.
And then here's a ghost in the sunshine wearing a wig. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Not sure why this ghost feels the need to wear a wig. There's some interesting plants growing around him as well. But I guess he's having a nice day in the garden.
Good for him.
Or maybe that's where he's buried.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, perhaps.
Yes.
So it looks like a daffodil and a dahlia. Now that I can identify flowers, I'm like, interesting. There's a black dahlia here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
yeah, okay. And I see the sun is also wearing sunglasses.
Let's see. You gotta pay attention to UVs.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
important
It's
at
true.
every
Even
stage.
from yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So evidently
interdimensional
I was
UVs.
destined to do this. This is apparently the path I'm supposed to be on.
For
It
sure.
is. It
Yeah,
is.
Mom's like, maybe you want to frame it now, and I was like, oh my god, I don't
Oh
want
yeah.
to.
No, we fully expect a
Children's book.
children's book of some sort from that.
I vote
No
for
question.
children's book.
Yeah. So, Kasey, October 1st feels like the perfect release date. Of course, this is a Halloween. This is Halloween in its very essence, right? What is it that I guess, was that timing intentional, or did it just sort of fall into place?
It was definitely intentional. We wanted this to hit the cozy fall people, the Halloween lovers, the year-round horror people, and around this time of year, I feel like a lot of people are picking up, hey, Book Talk, Instagram, they're looking for recommendations for, I just got a couple today for a spooky, a cozy, a horror. I mean, we definitely wanted this to be available to people when they were looking for it. 'Tis the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Agreed.
absolutely. And Melisa, this is kind of geared towards you. Horror fans, we all know we treat October like sacred ground, right? That's like, you don't
We wait
mess
for
with
it
our,
all
right.
year.
You don't mess with our October. What do you hope readers will feel picking the book up at the very start of spooky season?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like Halloween really can be celebrated any time of the year, but it's definitely going to get people in that spooky spirit, and every single 7 stories, all of them are set on Halloween. So that is the one very recurring theme in all of our stories. And I think it's really cool how we have very, very different stories all based on Halloween. So it's definitely going to get people in that spooky spirit.
Man, I can't wait.
I know.
I mean, it's definitely, first of all, the summer and the heat just burns me out after a while. So, getting to be October and you're able to start, wearing something other than shorts and flip-flops. Not that I've got a problem with it, but, getting kind of into that.
The leaves all fall, and you
Yeah.
get the spooky vibes,
Yeah. Now, Rissa, we've talked about a lot of things on our show with you, and one of the things we also talk about is some things are kind of ritualistic, right? And we've talked
Absolutely.
about quite a varied of amount of different things. But if readers were to pick up the book and go, "Hey, A Grave Duet," is there a certain part of that or a certain story or anything that you would feel like it'd be cool to make a ritual out of, kind of like curled up by candlelight and reading it out loud at midnight or something like that? Is there something that would stand out to you on that?
Dang. Well, first of all, I don't suggest reading by candlelight. That's where I wear glasses.
Yeah.
Yes. So as a younger person, I thought it was very cool to read in the dark. And I did give myself eye strain. So I'm going to strongly suggest that readers of Grave Duet don't follow in my footsteps.
Yeah.
But wow. Any of these could create a very scary ritual. As I'm browsing the table of contents, I mean, I personally would say everybody on a Halloween should have a ritual pulling out their Ouija board, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, of course, they don't necessarily want to summon, the person who's summoned in this story planchette. However, I one of my areas of history expertise is in the Ouija board. I do give a talk on it, and to be clear, I think it's a brilliant marketing tool. But
Oh yes.
yeah, I think the people who made it sold it perfectly to us as the public. That
Absolutely.
said, it is an interesting tool for scaring people with.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think that's a great one for a ritual. There's lots of fun Halloween stuff in here, though, like costuming, and there is a wonderful ritual that's part of Veil Bride that is Dia de los Muertos.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
very
That's
cool.
perfect.
So yeah, so the whole process of going to the grave, having the ofrenda, all of that is part of that story as well. So
Wow.
if that is part of somebody's culture, it's a great ritual. But also, just the idea of honoring the dead is a fantastic ritual. I think.
Mhm.
I
That's
think
cool.
most cultures around the
Yeah.
world. I'm going to go on a tangent. I'll try not to. Most cultures around the world do have traditions of honoring the dead. Americans, since the time of the Civil War, were taught to be afraid of the dead and to feel away from, about. But everybody else in the world is kind of like, oh, we honor the dead. We respect the
Absolutely.
dead. And here we're like, oh, I don't know anything about that.
Right.
Mhm.
So
I think it's just the impending mortality of everything. I think, I think a lot of other cultures they've leaned into it. They know this is our ultimate end, and either you're okay with it or you're not. I mean, but it's not going to stop coming.
Nope.
I think one of the things about Grave Duet is that since it is set on Halloween, it is set at that moment that is kind of like the pagan New Year, right? Where everything has died away and we're heading right into that winter solstice when it's cold and the ground is frozen. So it's
Right.
sort of like leading you into the ritual of knowing this is the slow time. This is the time of rest.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah,
And that's what books are perfect for the
for
wintertime.
sure. Yeah. Now, Melisa, as far as the Grave Duet, and I know you guys have written some in the past, collaboratively, but as far as an anthology, do you see this as hey, we got something out. I want to keep doing this. Are we going to see more of these coming out?
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Kasey and I had a meeting a few weeks ago, and we probably planned enough to last a few years. So
Great.
we really, really want to do a Valentine's Day horror. I think that would be awesome, but we decided it would be way too tight of a schedule to do it for 2026. So that is our 2027 goal. Our 2026 goal is Ostara, so it'll be A Grave Awakening, and Ostara is spring equinox when day and night are equal. So it's a time of renewal and rebirth, and we are starting to brainstorm our ideas around that.
Great.
That's
Well, I'm
awesome.
excited about that.
Yeah, we've definitely covered some interesting Halloween stuff, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Rissa.
Yeah.
But so I guess, Kasey, kind of something I'm always interested about, because when as a creative, you create something and it comes out as one medium. But we all, I think, either by the creative process or just by trying to see how things can expand, is there any one of these stories that you think could be adapted to like another medium, like film, stage, or maybe a podcast or something like that?
Can I sit with that for just a second?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a big ask because there is so much, you've got multiple stories, so many different ways you can go with it. But it is true, you think of these things and you think, what could grow into something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like. All right. Hot Halloween. May I just go down the list here?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Hot Halloween is going to be a memoir, like Anne Rice Lestat status.
Oh,
That will
Nice.
be
Okay.
a looking back as like an origin story, I feel like. Feed My Babies, that could probably be a hell of a horror movie. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here, but
Absolutely. Say it
that
all.
would be fantastic. Thank you. That would be phenomenal to see. There is such vivid description in Feed My Babies, and in a good way. In a good
Right.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, Sherry, I can see being a Netflix series that's all cut up. And now I feel like Nyctophobia would be a limited release Netflix series because it is in a multiple POV and it deals with everyone's phobias in an entire town and how their phobias come to life. So I think that would be really cool to see. Once in a Blue Moon is probably the. Oh, I don't know if I want to say this. It's like the most comforting. Honestly, it has a small town feel to it, and it has
Okay.
a very deep love of Halloween. So I feel like I could, not the Hallmark Channel. What's the other one? Somebody
There's
help me
like
out.
Lifetime.
Lifetime, maybe. But
Lifetime.
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
Yeah.
no, but it's still very monstery.
Well, I mean, I think they still do stuff like that. And well, honestly, like even dare I say it, even the House of the Mouse starts doing stuff like scary, wholesome kind of things too. So I think it'd probably go for Disney.
Oh.
I don't always want to say it because it's like I don't want to get the wrath of the mouse on me for anything, but no, that's really cool. Yeah, I'd love to see all of those or any variable of those would be really cool. Especially ones that challenge things, that change kind of the narrative that everybody's used to seeing. And I do love, kind of like Stephen King, I'm a big fan. When you look at like it's in the beginning, a very nice, warm, wholesome homecoming from Derry, and everything's all apple pie Chevrolet until that freak nature of a clown shows up. So, but no, it's always cool when something like that gets kind of added in there. So,
or even like the Stranger Things. It's the Stranger Things is the little hometown thing. Till all the stuff goes haywire.
And there's a lot to it because it hits on a lot of different themes, and that's kind of what you would want in a good story. So,
yeah,
that's cool. So, I guess I got a couple last questions, but it's going to be to all three of you, and we'll go one at a time. But we already kind of touched on a little bit, but what's kind of next for each of you, and then where can our audience find you? And we'll go ahead and start with you, Kasey, since we kind of just left off with you.
Oh man, sure. So what is next for me? I am releasing another triptych. I do horror triptychs, series of 3. And the next one, which is in fact the third one, should be coming out in January. It's called a triptych Mortem, pre-mortem and post-mortem.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
That's coming together nicely. That's been a lot of fun to write the triptychs.
Yeah, we're in.
I apologize. What was the last question? There was a second half.
No, the other question is how can our audience find you?
Oh, I am on Instagram more than I am on TikTok. I have a website, Author Fallon. Books are available pretty much anywhere books are sold.
Very, very cool. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they'll definitely want to reach out to you. And I guess same question to you, Melisa. Where can we find you, and what do you got kind of coming up?
Sure. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and I am. This is Sleep Diet. I'm working on the book 2 right now, Sleep Gym. It's about Go to Sleep, Wake Up Thin is kind of the theme for that book, and Go to Sleep, Wake Up Strong is the next one. It's a evil company that puts people to sleep and promises them great things, and there's like mind control and some other drama happening. So I'm working on that. I have a half-baked idea that I kind of work onto. I think authors are very known for like, we're working on this project, and then like this little thing comes and like knocks on your door and you start to get distracted.
I think that's for a lot of creatives.
That's just a creative mind.
Oh man, if I can tell you how many times
we're like that too.
We're like that because she's the brains behind everything. If you hadn't guessed, she does all the scheduling, all the everything, and then we'll have this game plan, and then all of a sudden, we get pulled in another direction, and we're like, okay, we're just going to table that, I guess, and go here. So. No, that's awesome. And did you have a website as well where people can
I
find
do, MelisaPetersonLewis.com.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Rissa, I know you're busy. I know you're always busy. How about yourself? Where can our audience find you?
It's almost spooky season, so they can find me on the street giving tours and at the museum giving talks and all over the Mid-Atlantic working. I have 2 websites, teandsmoke.com and hauntedpa.online. And until spooky season's over, I probably won't do any writing.
I understand. I know how incredibly busy you are during spooky season. Okay, so last question, and this is one that you guys can just kind of off the cuff how you feel. And we'll start with you, Rissa. What does horror mean to you personally? It's probably not just entertainment, but is it exploration? Is it healing? Is it rebellion? Or what is it? Is it something else kind of entirely?
So what is horror to me? For some reason, obviously you can tell I've always been a fan of horror. I feel more comfortable with the things that are darker. I've never quite fit into the bright, cheery category. even though if you know me, you know I smile a lot and I'm always in a good mood, but I am definitely a shadowy person. And I think for me, horror helps me walk a comfortable space between shadow and light. And it kind of gives me a place to feel like home.
Wow.
Great answer.
That is a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. I'm going to have to digest that one.
Don't
for
feel
a minute.
intimidated. The other two of you.
Casey,
No pressure.
Casey, how about yourself?
Thank you, Rissa.
How about for you, Casey?
For me, horror is facing the unknown, I would say. I mean, it's never the dark itself that's scary. It's what hides in the dark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
has been I've had a very strange life, and I'm good with it. And I really enjoy exploring the unknown, the other
Yeah.
with the capital O.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, the abyss is the abyss, right? You know, you know the black is there. You can either choose to stare into it and see what sense you can make out of it, or you just let it cripple you. I mean, that's just the couple of ways you can go with that.
Yep. And I would rather look at it.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
I agree.
Don't turn your back.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to grab you on the other end. But
True.
Melisa, how about yourself?
Oh my. I am the Enid of Wednesday and, her roommate. I like being scared because I don't know, it's a cool feeling, it kind of makes you feel alive a little bit. I don't generally go out looking for, like, we did a ghost tour with Rissa at Ellicott City, and I took a picture, and there was an image in one of the windows. And of course, I couldn't see it until I looked at and I remember the rest of the night. I think I had goosebumps the rest of the night. So, horror is great, and I like it when I can plan it. And I know it's coming, because I don't know, I think I'm really affected by horror type things, and paranormal too. Like, I feel like it really affects me, so I actually try to avoid it. I don't like the dark shadows. I like the sunshine.
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe you're more of an empath?
So I don't know if we're going to talk about our ghost stories at all, but I've had things touch me. I've had situations where my chest feels like very heavy until I leave situations. So I don't generally enjoy being around places that I know are going to have an impact on me. Like, in this room, like, most likely to get possessed is probably me. So I like to avoid that, I think. So yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm thinking she's an empath. Yeah.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm. Because I used to be the same way until I figured it out.
Is there a trick?
Just embrace it and face those fears.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're still going to be scared. There's still going to be those moments. But I think once you get over the little hump of it, it's not scary once you start to understand things a little bit more.
Okay.
That's it. Fear's the lack of the unknown, right? I mean, until you know it, until you can face it, then that's fear in itself. So, well, guys, listen, it's been great talking all three of you. I can't wait till we get to talk to you guys again, maybe for the follow up.
Yeah.
And maybe we can kind of reach out to each one of you and kind of touch base with where you are now and kind of what's going on. So, but again, thank you so much. And let's make sure to bring up the book here. So, A Grave Duet. Yeah, everybody gets to hold it up now. Look at that. We did not plan this, everybody.
No,
this is so for those of you listening and not watching, we're all holding up a copy of the book, but A Grave Duet, and it's available October 1st. I guess, Melisa, if you want to say where can people buy it?
Everywhere. It is wide. So Amazon, Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Nobles, anywhere. We have paperback, ebook, and there will be some voice narration through Amazon as well.
Very cool.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thanks again so much, guys. And we look forward to the success of the book and kind of where everything goes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
It was.
Yeah. It was fun to just kind of see how each one of them had we kind of asked some pretty similar questions, and I love to see how each one of them kind of answered, but I love to watch kind of at the end there when it came to what does horror mean to you? Because that's really a
It's different
personal
for
thing.
yes, for every person.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show when you have an anthology book like this, it really resonates with people because there is different things, or
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which is why it's great to have one book with 3 different authors. They've got their own personal touches on it, so
absolutely.
it changes,
Yeah,
and so all the stories are different.
I mean it's gonna be, guys, it's gonna be something you want to read. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
yeah.
we're
I
gonna call
mean,
it what it is.
perfect book for the month of October.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
with it coming out today,
Mm-hmm.
plenty of time
You've
to
got
read
30. Was it 31?
Yes, 30 days now,
30 days now.
depending on when you're hearing
Depending
this.
on when you buy it.
And when you're hearing this.
Yeah, countdown is on.
That's right.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was great talking to him. I can't wait to see some of the other stuff they got coming out.
I do too. I definitely want to check out some of the other books that they have available now, and I look forward to the future.
Future looks good for them.
So for those of you that stuck around to the end,
Yes.
and we will be talking about this in the coming days, but they have graciously gifted us a book, this book right here, and we are going to be doing a giveaway to the listeners.
That's right.
Or watchers, depending on how you do this.
The audience. We'll just say the audience.
We are going to somehow do a giveaway. We're figuring that out right now.
We're working out the
but
logistics of it.
in the coming days, please watch out on social media, and we'll be announcing how you can enter to win this book. And also, if you decide that you don't want the physical copy and you want an ebook, you just need to let us know if you get picked.
Yep, we can arrange something.
And we can arrange that. But yeah, we're going to make sure and pay attention.
Yes.
Watch your social media.
Yep.
For how to enter. And we'll probably run it for about a week.
Yeah.
About a week's time.
Yeah, because we want you guys to have it for
an opportunity for everybody to enter. And then you'll have, I don't know, maybe 20 some days to read it after that.
That's right.
Could go a little over Halloween.
Clock's ticking.
But, yeah, but I'm super excited to read the entire thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
and
stay tuned. Stay tuned.
You may actually know a couple of people that are in this book.
Possibly.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Hope you had a good time, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.